Namaskar, Jai Shri Krishna, disseminating text 5, text 6, text 7 and text 8 of chapter 6.Dhyana-Yoga of Srimad Bhagavad-gita. Text 5, Uddhare datmanatmanam gnatmanam vasadayeta atmaiva hayatmano bandhuratmaiva ripuratmanaha. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. The word Atma denotes body, mind and soul depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with the false ego which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna's consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing this point, that is, that one must do this. It is also said, Mana iva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoha bandhaya vishaya sango muktayai niravishayam Manah. For man, mind is the cause of bondage and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense object is the cause of bondage and mind detached from the sense objects is the cause of liberation. Amrita Bindu Upanishad 2. Therefore, the mind, which is always engaged in Krishna's consciousness, is the cause of supreme liberation. Text 6. Bandhurat mat manastasya yenat maivat mana jitaha anat manastu shatrutve vartetat maiva shatruvata. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. The purpose of practicing eightfold yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga for show is simply a waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is controlled, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna's consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. Text 7. Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshana sukha dukkheshu tatha manapamana yoha. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. Actually, every living entity is intended to abide by the dictation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. When the mind is misled by the external illusory energy, one becomes entangled in material activities. Therefore, as soon as one's mind is controlled through one of the yoga systems, one should be considered to have already reached the destination. One has to abide by superior dictation. When one's mind is fixed on the superior nature, he has no alternative but to follow the dictation of the Supreme. The mind must admit some superior dictation and follow it. The effect of controlling the mind is that one automatically follows the dictation of the Paramatma or Super Soul. Because this transcendental position is at once achieved by one who is in Krishna's consciousness, the devotee of the Lord is unaffected by the dualities of material existence, namely distress and happiness, cold and heat, etc. This state is practical samadhi or absorption in the Supreme. Text 8. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutastho Vijitendriyaha yukta iti yuchyate yogi samaloshtra shama kanchanaha. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones or gold, as the same. Book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. Ataha Shrikrishna namadi na bhaveda grahayam indriyahi sevon mukhehi jihavadau swayam eva spurthi adaha. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality and pastimes of Shri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by the transcendental service of the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. This Bhagavad-gita is the science of Krishna's consciousness. No one can become Krishna's conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. A Krishna-realized person is one who is Krishna's conscious by the grace of Krishna, because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his conviction. But by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones. Thank you.